Let's get ready to rumble.
Yes, we're back. Episode 131 of Hibs Ramble. We're back with a bang. It's season 4, and we are back in your ear holes and eye holes if you're watching us on YouTube for another season of shenanigans. I'm your host as always, Liam, and I'm joined by the wonderful Mr. Craig Leach. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's good to be back.
Glad to be back.
Obviously, I was patched for the end of season review.
You were.
So I'm glad to be back, kicking off what will probably be one of 7-8 appearances this season.
7-8 appearances this week.
This week, aye.
Craig, if you're watching on YouTube, is donning the fantastic new Hibernian FC training wear for 25-26 with the classic HFC badge. Is it a badge? A logo?
No, it's
what would you call that?
AI logo, just stitching,
Just a
individual
logo.
letter stitching.
Usually where the badge is. Looking really good. And I tell you what, Craig, it's great to be back. It's great to have soccer back. We're within touching distance of competitive football back for the Hibs. It's been a bit of a long summer. And it's nice to have a break. Nice to have a break from podcasting. Had to blow the dust off the old mic and the old laptop before we booted up
Snap.
this evening. But there's absolutely nothing better than coming together on a weeknight and chatting absolute bollocks about Hibernian Football Club.
A Friday night as well. A Friday night where it's beaming sunlight and we're sitting in 2 darkened rooms talking about Hibs. But no, it's been good. I don't really like the summers without football. But I'm not classing that fucking nonsense thing that happened in America as competitive football. It was a month of friendlies.
Yeah.
So no, it's good.
It's good for the Brazilian teams and stuff, but for your Bayern Munichs, for your Real Madrids, for your Manchester Cities, it means absolutely nothing. It's just it's the Premier Sports Cup, but on a bigger scale.
Aye, pretty much.
Absolute woke nonsense. I was going to say, talking of the Premier Sports Cup, we've obviously got a couple of games coming up, but we're not playing in the group stages.
No, we don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck.
No, like I said, we are back to competitive action next week in Denmark against FC Midtjylland, and I've definitely not been practicing how to say that since the draw was made. Just before we kind of jump in and talk about what's going on leading up to this game and everything else, just how excited are you to see us coming up against a team of that sort of calibre? Because they probably file under no mugs.
No, they're definitely not. I think if I'm no wrong, they were the first team that the boy who got Brentford to the Premier League ended up investing in, with a whole sort of Moneyball kind of approach. Yeah. And I think they've almost been used as a sort of breeding ground for a lot of players to move on to bigger things. I know they've got obviously that, what's his name at Rangers, was there? Was it Diomande?
Asgard? Oh, Diomande.
No, Diomande was there. I think that Asgard might have been there as well, but I think they've had a few players sort of get bigger moves. That Ibrahim Osman's at Brighton. I only know that because I'd done a save with Midtjylland on FM about 2 years ago.
Did you?
Aye. So, no, there'll be no mugs, but at the same time, I don't think they're the giants that sort of everyone seems to be making them out to be.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think the draw that we got was great, but at the same time, I think it could have been a whole lot worse. My only reservation about it is I would have much rather preferred to have had them at home first rather than away.
I mean, that's fair dues, and we will talk about that a little bit later on. But we're fresh off the back of a really positive season, by all accounts last year. Yes, we had a bit of a shaky start, but 75% of the season we were absolutely fantastic and scooshed third really in the end. Yep. Done out of European group stages, league phase, by
You can say that, but it was never in our control.
No, it was never in our control, but I mean, it was never ours to have it would have been nice to have. And
In a season,
in any
right?
other circumstance, I probably wouldn't have been that fussed about Aberdeen winning the cup and Celtic losing it. I probably would have been happy for Aberdeen, but I wasn't happy that day.
I'll say this, right? In a season that started off Hibs, right, up until that Aberdeen game, nothing that could have went against us did go against us. Probably the only blemish you would probably say was the game up in Aberdeen where Nisbet scored, right? But even then, we were still in a comfortable position.
Yeah, we're still third at that point.
Aye. That Aberdeen winning the cup is the most Hibs thing that could have happened to us.
I'm sure.
One of the only
outside
Rangers, one of the only teams to beat Celtic in a cup final in God knows how long.
Yeah.
Given the run that they've went on in domestic cups over the last 7-8 years since Rodgers first, 10 coming up 10 years since Rodgers first took the job there.
Yeah.
But do you know what? It wouldn't be us if we'd done it the easy way.
This is it, and we're going to have to do it the hard way. And it's also it's given us a great chance to get ourselves out to a part of the world that a lot of Hibs fans might not have been in before, Herning in Denmark. And I mean, I feel like the squad is in a relatively good place going into this game. We've obviously done a little bit of business so far in the window in. We've had Jamie McGrath, who obviously signed on a pre-contract in January. We've also had Raphael Salinger, Josh Mulligan, and Thibaut Clige, who just signed for a record fee. I just kind of want to get your take, firstly, on the players that we've brought in. I don't think that there's anyone in there that's a project. I think each of those players are going to come in and certainly have the ability to make an immediate impact on the starting 11.
Yeah, I think going for back to front first. I think Salinger's maybe not him as a person, but we absolutely needed a goalie after the way it unfolded last season. Jordan Smith, I don't know how he'll be feeling because of the fact that it's not like, you know, when we signed Bursic last season, Smith came in effectively to be his backup.
Yeah.
Smith obviously worked his way into the team and deserved to stay in the team. And the goalie that we've signed isn't really a backup. He seems like he's going to be, you know, not just there in case Smith needs to come out, but pushing him all the way to be number one. So it'll be interesting to see who Gray goes with. But he looks all right. I mean, I seen the friendly last week against Essen, and I don't think he covered himself in glory with his first goal. I think second goal, but then Rocky didn't really cover himself in glory either. But then he saves a penalty. So
I actually don't think that he had an awful lot of. I don't think he saw an awful lot of that. Like when the boy took the shot because of where Rocky was. But no,
I think though he is 6'3", 6'4". Like that's kind of the stature of goalie that you want. Mulligan, I think, is a brilliant signing. That when we beat Dundee, and I think was it maybe March or April, and was it 4-0, 4-1 we scudded them. Yeah, he was the only one on the park that you could have. Like I remember saying to one of my mates after the game, or it might have been in our group chat or something, like I would take him. Yep. Like he was the only one, and it gives us a real sort of area where, you know, not only can he go and play out on that right hand side as a wing back where he's been really effective, but he's also able to play in the middle. And I think is it 2029 he's signed till. So he signed a 4-year deal. So that's a massive. I think that's a massive statement from the club, but also it shows that where we are now, that players, these sort of younger emerging.
Last summer. Like these wouldn't have happened last summer.
These emerging players in Scottish football, I think Mulligan's 22? I think maybe 22, 23. You know, he could have easily signed a 2-year deal and buggered off in 2 years, but he signed a 4-year deal, which is a massive statement. And it's sort of, I like the way we've went about our business. Obviously, other than McGrath, which we knew about back in January, February time. That Mulligan one was like,
really good signing, by the way, Jamie McGrath.
Yeah, but Mulligan's one, I think, because there was obviously the noises about him going to Rangers, like with Lyle Cameron.
Yeah.
Then just out of nowhere, he was signed by us. I know that.
I couldn't believe that.
Mate, I seen something on Twitter yesterday. He makes 1.2 million a year off of Twitter because he just rehashes the same fucking posts all the time. But he'll be a really good signing, really good area, especially depending on what happens with Lewis Miller as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you've got McGrath, who I think keeping him fit is going to be the main part, but it gives us another option in that sort of number 10 area where we were kind of between Hoylett and Campbell for a lot of last season.
And I think McGrath probably gives you something completely different than what Campbell can give you, and then also something different than what Hoylett can give you as well.
McGrath's probably a bit more technical than Campbell.
He's more technically tuned than Campbell. But
and then he gives you maybe the run. Maybe like he gives you a bit of the running power that Campbell gives, but
the
Hoylett
that Hoylett gives you. Yeah,
Hoylett is by far and away the technically gifted one in that sort of area. But he's clearly not got the legs of a Campbell or a McGrath. So it is good to have that sort of combination between them. And then Cleege,
that's the most important, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And then Cleege up front is a good signing. I think he's not a project, but he's not going to hit the ground running. He's maybe we'll get him ready now, get him in now, and get him sort of a season under his belt, depending on what happens with Boyle at the end of next season.
Certainly,
so no, really
exciting. It's an exciting transfer, that one, especially like you said, with Mulligan. It kind of came out of the blue. This one especially came out of the blue. We didn't know until 15 years before who it was going to be.
I mean, I didn't know anything about him, so all I done was I went on Twitter and I seen what Hearts fans were saying because they seem to know fucking everything about him. Mm-hmm. Like within minutes of him being announced. Yeah. So, but no, it's good. We're still really light, I think, in certain areas of the pitch. I do still think we're short at the back, especially depending on, like I said, what happens with Lewis Miller. We're still missing that. I don't want to dwell on him as an individual too much because nothing's really changed, but that Triantis type in the middle, and probably another player in the forward area, I think. And I'm not talking like backups, or I'm talking boys that can come in and really sort of make a play for the first team.
I understand this though. I really do think the club understand this, and I don't really want to speculate too much because I don't know anything, and I don't claim to be in the know or know anything like the other Hibs fans don't. But I feel like the real stick in the mud with the Nectar Triantis deal is Nectar Triantis. I don't think it's Hibs. I don't think it's Sunderland. I think it's the fact that, and he's absolutely more than entitled to because he's contracted to Sunderland, who are a Premier League side. He wants to get noticed by the Sunderland manager and have a crack at the Premier League, which for someone who is so young and is clearly so talented, I don't think it's madness for him to want to do. He's got 2 years left at Sunderland, so if he came out back on loan to a different club, I mean Hibs or whoever, and then went back at season end, then he'd have a year left. But then Sunderland would probably be in a position where they would be thinking, well, he's had another good year.
They'll probably be back in the Championship, or they'll probably be back in the Championship, and he walks
exactly.
in.
It's such a difficult one, mate, for Nectar as well. And I really don't envy the position he's in because it must be a tough one to try, and especially because Hibs went back to pre-season so much earlier than Sunderland did.
I think the issue we've got, I mean, this, and I said it in our group chat the other day, my problem with him coming back on loan is that we've developed a player for 2.5 years, effectively, and we're not getting anything at the end of it. And, you know, if it plays out like it did last year, he's coming in at the end of August, because of the route we found ourselves in with Europe, there's a chance, we've got just as much chance of still being in Europe as we have been out. So I think there needs to come a point where, and I think Gray's kind of pushed that a wee bit recently, with the press stuff he's done, like with the Hibs Observer and that, as if to say we're not going to wait forever. Because
I certainly think that
I don't think we can sit about and, because there's no point in us going out and signing someone now in that role for Nectar to turn around in a week or so and go, nah, do you know what, I'll come back. Like you say, he's more than entitled to do what he wants to do with Sunderland. I do think it's fucking mental they're still trying to play him as a centre-half, though.
I think that was because of injuries.
Anyone
or unavailability. something like that.
No, I genuinely don't think it is. I genuinely think they see him as a centre half.
Has he been?
Which he played. I think he's played maybe 1 or 2 friendlies when he came on, and he played centre half. Which is anybody who's seen him for Hibs, right? Anybody who's seen him in that 6 months under Montgomery knows he is not a fucking centre half.
Yeah.
Not by any stretch of the
And
imagination.
I think the Sunderland fans were saying that as well. Like I read under some of the posts that Sunderland put on Twitter, and the fans were like specifically about Nectar, and the fans were saying, "Well, why is he playing there when he had a blinder of a season in centre midfield last year?"
Yep.
Which doesn't
And that's
make
the
an
thing,
awful lot
like,
of sense.
I think with us, we're probably going to be quite far down the pecking order, I believe, in terms of where he could end up or where he wants to go. When you hear about some of the teams that have been linked to him, like German Bundesliga 2 teams, he's got a chance to play in the Premier League, which, given Sunderland are signing midfielders for 10, 15 million pound, I don't see happening. But then we don't know what contract he's on at Sunderland. Do you know what I mean? He might be taking a massive drop in wages to come to us.
I mean, and to be honest, he's probably had a clause in his contract that triggers a wage rise on promotion.
Somebody's also played a lot of FM to remember that one for the Championship to the Prem.
Absolutely. And I can't see us being able to match what Sunderland are offering him.
No,
it depends it really just depends on what Nectar values more. And I think with the time that it's taken for him to come to a decision or a deal to be done, shows that he is maybe caught in between a rock and a hard place in terms of he wants to go and play at a higher level. I think maybe sacrifice his game time and maybe not getting a World Cup squad for Greece or Australia, and then he's balancing that up with, well, if I go to Hibs, I'm going to play every week, I'm going to be the main man, and then if Greece or Australia, I think Australia have already qualified for the World Cup, if he chooses Australia or if Greece get to the World Cup, then he's probably going to be a shoe-in for one of those squads. Like I said, I really don't envy the position that he's in, because it must be a really difficult spot for him to choose between his career long term and his career long term.
No, absolutely. I think that's the thing that we would probably be selling him on, as if to say, come back here and sign a 3-year deal after 2 years, or go next summer after 2 years. Your ceiling is so high. Or do you take the risk now and do you go to like I don't know who's in the fucking, like St. Pauli? I think St. Pauli were one of the teams linked to him. Or do you go to a St. Pauli now, almost like thinking about like what Jamie McLaren did?
Yeah.
When Jamie McLaren had a really good couple of seasons in Australia, went to Darmstadt, didn't really work out for him, came here for 6 months, had a blinder. But then wanted to go back and try his luck with Darmstadt again, and obviously ended up coming back to us, and the second time wasn't anywhere near as good as the first time. But
it's all risk and reward, mate. I feel like
I do just think though that there needs to be a deadline. There needs to be dependent on the outcome of the Midtjylland game.
To be honest,
I think after the Midtjylland game, that's where we go, right. We need to know, because we're either going to go into a Europa League next round qualifier against an even stronger team than Midtjylland, or we're going to drop into the Conference League, where we might likely have a better chance of winning. So, it's all ifs and buts, mate. I think that's a good thing though. I actually quite like the fact now that we actually don't know, and it seems to be quite coincidental that ever since Ben Kensel left,
the leaks have stopped.
Leaks have just stopped.
Maybe this new CEO will get pushed in Albion Bar and follow the transfer rumours.
Maybe.
To all the fans. But obviously we touched on Nectar there. There's a massive Nectar-shaped hole in our team at the moment, and whether we fill it with Triantis or with a player equal of his quality and brings the same sort of characteristics and ability that he does, I think that hole's going to be there, and I do think that it will be filled by someone before the end of the window. But just touching on some of the other outgoings, obviously The main one probably Dylan Vente, sold to Heerenveen, and I think we got close to, if not $1 million, for Vente after a really good season in Eredivisie last season for, who was it? Was it Zwolle?
Pek Zwolle, I think. Aye.
So, I mean, it's actually quite a really good move for Vente when you think about where he was at the start of last season in terms of his time at Hibs. And Heerenveen you can file them with Midtjylland under name mugs. Noan Kenna has left the club and ended up at Tranmere. Nathan Mariah Welsh, was it Mansfield or Macclesfield? One of the two.
Mansfield, he's went.
Mansfield. And I think that was undisclosed as well.
Quite sad. I'm not sad to see him go, but he was one of the ones who didn't seem like a bit of a troublemaker.
Yeah,
if you go by previous comments, he put himself about a bit, and he was just. I think it's just game time, eh? Like he came in. Was it Celtic at home he played, and he actually had the Celtic game when we beat them. He had a really good game. I'm sure it was Celtic at home. He had a really good game. But I don't think there was enough.
Like Mariah Welsh, yeah. I
think there wasn't enough game time for him.
Yeah, and if you're bringing Nectar Triantis back in, or someone who's
Alassane Amani now getting up to speed, like 6 months to get acclimatised to Scotland as well. Like
that might turn out to be a really good piece of business.
Yeah, game time's going to be even more limited for him now. So, and then you've got the fact that Joe Newell will eventually come back in. So
it's a shame, but I'd rather see him flourish and get games somewhere else than sitting rot on the bench. And also as well, you think about that, and that's where Hibs went wrong recruitment-wise for a long, long time, is we tied a lot of players down to long-term contracts who maybe weren't in the long-term plans. And
the streets will never forget. The streets will never forget JT29.
Yeah, he's next on my list. Jair Tavares his contract was brought to a mutual agreement to end it.
I'm just glad that sort of spell with Johnson, Kensel and all that is now, like, we can now just completely, apart from Del Ferrier, but we can just draw a line under pretty much all of that.
Yeah. I mean, you can...
And forget it ever happened.
You can maybe see what Hibs saw in Jair, but the fact that Jair and Duke were both available and we went for Jair is baffling. Next, Max Boric released, Dwight Gale retired, and then, of course, Miko, Nectar and Bursic back to their respective parent clubs. For me, apart from Nectar, which doesn't really count as a loss, in my opinion, I don't think there's any big losses or major concerns in that list. And I think it was all players that we probably needed to get out the door.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, there was a part of me that quite would have liked Miko to come back, but he just can't stay. He's another one of these that just can't stay free for injuries. So,
yeah. I think turn it on a little bit towards the end of the season and picked up his form a little bit, and I think we saw the qualities in him that we were expecting of him all season towards the end. But for me, I did like Miko, but for me that's not enough to bring him back. And we probably would have had to spend a hefty fee on him. But now he's at Slovan Bratislava. So, I mean, that might be a league that's quite well suited to his attributes and his physicality and stuff. So, good luck to him there.
Definitely.
We spoke there just about strengthening, and it's defence, midfield, attack that you'd like to see. Would you like to see 3 come in?
I do. I still think we're the profile that Lewis Miller gives us at right centre half. If he goes, which I think he probably will, given that we heard that when his contract extension was activated, he wasn't too happy about it.
Where did you hear this though? Because I was reading that. I was on .net the other day and I was reading that as well. But
yeah, I can't remember where I heard it, but I'm sure it was activated just before the Aberdeen game, and he was mysteriously missing for the Aberdeen game. And O'Hora played at right centre half, and I quite like O'Hora, but he's not got the pace, the sort
different.
The pace and athleticism that Miller gives you for right centre back. And he's another one who, without the switch to a 3-5-2,
I think he'd be
doesn't
so
he have?
difficult to replace, to be honest. Lewis
He would,
Hall.
but him and Rocky don't have the seasons that they have playing in a back four. Like, they just
No,
complemented each other so well in
Neither
that
does
back three.
Iredale, to be honest.
Well, Iredale we never really seen too much in a back four.
Well, I'm just saying it now, to be honest.
But I think a centre half, another centre, because I think there's noises about Ekpiteta maybe leaving as well.
Yeah, I've read.
But then it leads on to,
that.
I seen that we've apparently bid 1.2 mil for Port. I think somebody posted it in our group chat that
It was on .net as well.
1.2 mil for Porteous.
But Watford are wanting 3 or something like that. I mean,
I don't know what the script is with that. I would like Porteous back. I think he's one of those ones where it was right for him to go and try it, but I think he's probably not, because I don't think he played much for Preston after he joined them on loan either.
no.
So he would be a good, I think
that would
replacement.
be a big coup, to be honest. If we were able to get him back in any sort of capacity, either on loan or
Yeah,
permanent.
he's
I
still
think it
only
would be quite
what
a
20.
big coup.
What I say, like 26 maybe.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, full-fledged Scotland international played.
Played at the Euros. He's 20. He's 26, so he's at a really good age.
And I think the experience that he would have had from down there with playing in the Championship against really good opposition will come back. And I think we would probably see a completely different Ryan Porteous than we had when he left. So, I mean,
think
if
that
there's
if
any
that's
sort of chance of that happening, then I think Hibs should and probably would grab it with both hands, because, again, it's another one who's clearly a good character, knows the club, knows David Gray. David Gray knows him. And I just think it would be a good move all round, to be honest.
aye. So there's one. I wouldn't want us to overpay for him though.
No.
So aye, maybe a Porteous type to come in at the back. Again, still young enough, still got a lot of growing to do as well. That sort of Triantis type in the middle. I know there's been noises about Lewis Mayo, apparently for Kelly.
Is there? Did
If Miller
he
goes-
get released?
No, just like to actually buy him for Kelly.
There's been murmurs about Lewis Mayo for a few years now, isn't it?
It goes back to that whole fucking window with Jamie McCart and all of that. He's the new Danny Swanson. I think every window he'll get linked. But then another forward type, maybe another sort of like in the
Another
Dwight
Bowie.
Gale mould. No, another in the Dwight Gale mould. Somebody with that level of experience.
It's not going to be Andy Carroll anyway.
No, because we've got, obviously, when you look at the profile now, we're going sort of big man, little man up top again, with Boyle and Cleegee, who are probably similar profiles pace-wise, and then you've got Bowie, who's, when you actually look at him, he's a big guy.
He's a
like
unit, by the way.
you didn't realise how big he actually is. So maybe somebody, an older type, to go along with Bowie. I don't know if Stephen Fletcher's got a club yet. I wouldn't really advocate for Fletcher to us. I mean, he was with Dundee United a couple of years ago and then left, so I wouldn't really want him coming back to us after being at a slightly, like a lesser team. But he's probably one that
By all
could
accounts,
be
he
that.
had a half decent season last year at Wrexham.
I mean, I don't know if he has actually signed for anybody, but again, he's one of these ones where, character-wise, I mean, there'll be nobody left at the club that obviously he played or worked with, but he's one that brings a sort of that experienced head at the top end of the park. So
Yeah.
I think I'm glad we've not seen to go scattergun and just sign loads of players, because you look at teams like Hearts, Aberdeen, Dundee United, they seem to just be signing folk all the time, and there doesn't seem to be anybody leaving.
And it also doesn't look like there's much strategy. Well, I mean, there might be strategy. I mean, I'm just saying that from an outside point of view.
Can I say that, mate? Like
It's
fucking
Jamestown Analytics,
Jamestown Analytics.
And
Like that's
they uncovered James, rare James, such as Stuart Finlay, who was at Kilmarnock last season.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know where he comes from. Like, how did he get that? And it was mad that out of all the managers in world football that might have been available, that met the metrics of what Hearts were looking for, was also at Kilmarnock. It's mad. I don't get it.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Craig. Kilmarnock play in the same league as Hearts.
Yeah, they actually finished in the same half of the league as Hearts, funnily enough, last season.
That's true, yeah.
So,
they did.
but no, it's I think we will see still. I think there'll still be a lot of movement. I think there'll probably be maybe one or two players leave that we don't want to leave. Maybe I'm just
At least
spitballing
it
here.
won't
So
be Boyle and Bushiri though.
yeah, won't be Boyle and Bushiri, but I think you might see something like a team maybe come in for like a Dylan Levitt or something like that. I think
Do
both
seem pretty
Caddens.
stacked in the creative midfielder, like the creative central side. We do
Yeah.
seem a little bit heavy. I think if I was to maybe not, I don't want to say get rid, but I think if someone was to come in, I would want them to veer more towards that area of the park,
Aye.
like the more attacking central midfielders.
Yeah. I think both Caddens are safe. For bids, obviously we just
Nicky Cadden, it's not you.
Who's it? Extended Jordan Obita's contract, which
That's
again
a
I
good
think
piece
is a
of
really
business, by
good
the way.
move.
He's
I don't
going to
know,
have so
maybe
many cars by the time 2027 rolls around.
I mean, I'm just looking at the squad now, and it doesn't actually look that heavy, to be honest. But again, it's all about. It's not. I don't want to see us bringing in
Balance.
players that are going to sit on the bench and that are going to can maybe apart for that sort of older, experienced head
Yeah.
at the top end of the park. So,
I think someone who knows that they're going to come in and that's going to be their role.
like Dwight Gale did last season,
Yeah, exactly.
and to an extent, the season before that Lafondra did, and he ended up playing way more than he should have.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Let's move on from transfers. Listen, obviously we've got a massive season ahead of us. Third and Celtic winning the cup or second winning the cup doesn't guarantee you league phase in Europe anymore after this season. That starts. So if we want to get into the league phase next year, our best chance is going to have to be finishing third. And for me, what I saw last year, I don't see any reason why we can't give it a real good go. And it seems like we've been putting in the right legwork and the right preparation to properly give it a good shot. And the fact that we're not, I mean, I'm saying that we're not. Chances are that we're probably not going to give everyone a 14-game head start again. Third could be wrapped up by, I don't know, Halloween.
Possibly. I mean, you look at the fixtures that we've got to start the season, and I don't actually think that. And I'm not saying this in terms of these games are a given, but we've got 3 games at home out of the first 5, and we've got 2 teams that finished in the bottom 6 last season and a newly promoted team.
Yeah, I think the first 5 games is. I don't think it's going to be a real sort of marker to see where we're at as a team. But I think it's a really, really good opportunity for us to bank points early on in the season. And it's all well and good saying that because you see these runs of fixtures come along every year and we go, oh, we could get 12 points out of this, or we could get 9 out of 15. And you go
4.
damn squib and you get 4.
Aye.
And that's with three draws.
I mean, you compare it. You compare the first. You compare the first 5 games to sort of the following 5 games that we have. Okay, so it's Dundee away, Killie at home, Falkirk away, and then 2 back-to-back at home with St Mirren and Dundee United.
Yeah.
Which is, if you're looking at the home games, you're wanting 9. And if you're looking at the way Dundee have started, especially their Premier Group stage, if you're Stephen Presley, if you want a manager who's going to win you 3 points in the league, I'm not your man.
I cannot believe that he came out with that in the first press conference. Everyone knows that Dundee are not going to win the league, right? But the fact that he's saying, if you're wanting someone who wins trophies
I'm not your man.
plays attractive football, I'm not your man. And see, if you're a Dundee fan watching it, you're thinking, well, why the fuck have we given you the job?
I seen someone on Twitter say that when he talks, he sounds like trainers on a basketball court. And you can't hear it every time he speaks. But you look at those 5 games, you're looking at ideally you're coming away with 12, say, right?
Hopefully.
12 at the games.
Hopefully.
Because Falkirk away is our fucking Horcrux. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you'll get the reference.
Right.
And it's so the following 5 games is Celtic away, Hearts away, Livy at home, Aberdeen away, Rangers at home.
Yeah, well, those are the fixtures that I've kind of picked out, really. The first derby is Hearts away on the 4th of October, which will
And that takes you up to the
probably
first
get
sort
moved
of
for Friday.
the first third of the initial 33 games before the split. So that's a run where you're looking at. We're thinking you want to bank points early
to get
because
ourselves in a good
especially
position to play these teams.
yeah, and exactly, and those following 5 games as well. You've got Celtic, Hearts, and Aberdeen all away from home.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's I mean, won't be an issue for us because Hibs First members now, of course, we'll be there,
Yeah.
every single one. But you want to put yourself in the best position possible, because after that it leads into maybe a more favourable run with quite a few home games going in towards that sort of winter break,
And then a
that
tough winter
time.
again,
Yeah,
which happens every year. And to be honest, you're bound to have a tough period, but it seems like it's always Christmas for us.
aye.
I don't
is.
mind it though. I don't mind it,
No, me
especially if
neither.
you can get a couple of half decent results. But genuinely, I don't think, and I don't want to spend too long talking about games that haven't happened yet. What we're going to be sitting here talking about in 9 months' time. But I do feel like we've got a really, really good opportunity to really push on from last season, because there's been no real losses. We've added well. We've added,
Yep.
by all accounts, good characters. We're taking our time with recruitment and doing what we think is right. Clearly bringing in players who are good enough to make an impact in the starting 11.
Yep.
And we're no afraid to spend money.
Exactly. I think this could be the year where you start to see us, Aberdeen and Hearts, maybe start to. So usually it's Celtic and Rangers, right?
And
then
it's money that us three.
it's usually Celtic and Rangers, and then so last season it was us and Aberdeen, right? Season before that it was Hearts and Aberdeen. The season before that it was us and Hearts. I think now with the money that we're spending, folk will see what Aberdeen managed to do last season. Like, it should shape up to be. It shouldn't be a case of Celtic far and away, Rangers hanging on to their coattails for a bit and disappearing, and then the rest of us just like being monkeys flinging shite at a wall. I think you'll see a lot more of us, Aberdeen and Hearts, being closer at the top end than we are. We'll not be. I don't think any of the 3 teams will be fighting to be in the bottom 6 come the last day of the season before the split.
I mean,
In theory, we shouldn't. Given the money that
exactly.
all the clubs are spending, we shouldn't. Given the money that Aberdeen will accrue for their European run, given the money that Hearts have now got with the Tony Bloom investment, given the money that we've clearly got with the Gordons writing off shares and giving more money, and Hearts have got the link with Brighton and all that stuff, we seem to be now getting a little bit closer with Bournemouth. Don't know who the fucking Atlanta United or something that Aberdeen's is, which is completely pointless. But I think, and it'll be embarrassing for any of those 3 teams to not be in the top 6 come the day before the game before the split.
Yeah, I think it's you've surely just got to look that it's now. You've got to bridge the gap between Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen, and Rangers before you start to think about anything else. And it's.
But the thing is though, it's a like Celtic and Rangers. Like Rangers only need to get better to get near Celtic. Celtic didn't really need to get better because they're already by far and away the team to beat in the league. But the better that us, Hearts and Aberdeen get, the more likelihood we're going to start chipping away and taking points more regularly off Celtic and Rangers, which can start to push us a little bit higher up the league and a bit closer to them as well.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And that's really all you can ask for. And it's not going to happen overnight. And it hasn't happened overnight, but you can see that the cogs are starting to turn. The investment is coming. It's only going to make our league a more attractive prospect for better players. And that's a good thing.
You look at players like Aberdeen going to
10 years ago, Junior Hoylett, a player of Junior Hoylett's quality, regardless of age, would never have been at a team in Scotland out with the Old Firm.
Aye. And that's the thing, like you need to just look at, can Aberdeen showing prospective signings this summer? What can you offer me? They'll just show them the photos of the fucking parade that they had.
Exactly,
and
mate.
the support that they had at the cup final.
They'll have turned the volume off though, because as soon as they hear the accent, they'll be like,
Aye, of course. For us, they'll show Can the sunshine on Leith after the Celtic game, after the Hearts game, things like that, moments like that. For Hearts, they'll show. I don't know what will they show. Will they just rerun the fucking 2012 Cup final again or something and say this happened?
Maybe they'll rerun the video that they put out when they were like, for the first time in 30 years, Hearts are going to have an active presence behind a goal at Castle. When they announced that Guardiola were sitting in that tiny wee bit.
Aye, but no, like all joking aside, like can Aberdeen can show off what they can show off, we can show off that. Can all three clubs have got Aberdeen maybe more sorted, but their stadium is a bit more of a bit of a relic. But can both us and Hearts, can us obviously slightly bigger stadium, both got really great training facilities, great city to like. We should be attracting players that both teams are attracting. Exactly. We just need to hope that we've got our finger on the pulse a bit better in terms of guys like Cleege, in terms of bringing in, where does somebody like a Mulligan go for being for a big fish in a wee pond at a sort of perennial up and down team like Dundee, to making his mark for a team what to push up at that top 3-4 position, push for cups, push for Europe. And then McGrath, how does he fit in with, he already knows the expectations because he's played at a club challenging for Europe, going for a trophy, going for third. We just need to hope that we've got our finger on the pulse a bit better than Hearts and Aberdeen, who don't seem to be signing a lot of players that will get the league straight away, whereas we've kind of, Mulligan gets the league, McGrath gets the league, and then it's just the keeper and the striker.
Yeah, exactly.
That you need to hope sort of hit the ground running.
And that segues us absolutely terribly into my next segment, which, Craig, you're going to love it. It's a quiz.
Oh, come on.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Here we go.
Attention all Ramblers. Don't go anywhere because it's Ramble quiz time.
Right, as we mentioned earlier on, of course, we're back in competitive action next week against Midtjylland in Herning in Denmark, which leads us on to our quiz, Craig. And the quiz is Danish town or Midtjylland first team player? Which I'm kind of worried now because you said that you did an FM save with Midtjylland.
But this is... Nah, I'll not. I wouldn't. I honestly couldn't tell you any players that they've got just now.
So, for example, if you haven't got it from the title, I would say, Craig, a Danish town or a Midtjylland first team player? Copenhagen, which of course is a
Danish town.
And
well, Danish city, if you want to be pedantic.
I don't think any of these. Well, I've never heard of any of the things on this list, be it players or towns/cities. So I'm not too sure how well you're going to cope with this. But are you happy to get going?
I am.
And if you're Danish and you're listening to this, I am honestly, from the bottom of my heart, so sorry at how badly I'm going to butcher these names of your lovely players and your even lovelier places. So, number 1, Overgaard, Danish town or FC Midtjylland first team player?
I'm going to go Danish town for that one.
You'd be absolutely incorrect. He plays for FC Midtjylland. I can get back on Transfer Market. This took me ages, by the way. I was scrolling around on Apple Maps, like zooming into tiny wee places. Who is it? Overgaard. Where is he? Lasse Overgaard, a 19-year-old defensive midfielder who doesn't currently have a squad number at FC Midtjylland. He's contracted to 2030. Next, Back. B-A-K. Back.
I'm going to go Back. That's B-A-K.
B-A-K.
That sounds awfully short to be a Danish town, so I'm going to say an FC Midtjylland player.
It absolutely is an FC Midtjylland player. He is a 21-year-old left back, Victor Back, from Denmark, valued at €1.5 million, and he's number 55. If you're looking out for him next Thursday night. Sorry. Number 3, Middelfart.
That's if that was a player, we definitely would have heard of him well before now. So I'm going to go Danish town.
Absolutely correct. Middelfart is a place that I think the train from Copenhagen to Herning, which me, Mark, and all that will be on, I think it goes through Middelfart. So I'm really looking forward to visiting there and seeing how it smells. But you're absolutely right. It is a Danish town. So after the first 3, you've got 2 right. Which brings me to my next one, which is Bjerge.
Oh, Bjerge. So what have we went so far? We've went player, town.
I don't want to give you any hints, to be honest.
I'm going to say I made an arse of it with the first one where I thought it was town when it was player, so I think this one's town, but I'm going to go player.
It is a player. Gustav Bjerge, 19-year-old centre-half, and also doesn't have a squad number or a valuation on Transfermarkt.
Get it up on.
Next is, and I don't know how to pronounce the O with the line through it.
I think it's so if it was I think Odegaard is meant to be pronounced like Odegaard. Aye.
Right, so this would then be Dulby. Like a Dolby telly. Like Dolby.
Oh, right. But
with a line through the O. Dulby.
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 We'll go player.
Absolutely incorrect. Dulby is a town, and I'm trying to figure out where it is in Denmark. I think it's in like northern Denmark.
So like the Arctic Circle, pretty much.
I actually can't find it because I zoomed in that far on Apple Maps to find all these fucking stupid wee towns. Yeah, that is a Danish town, Dulby. Next up, there's 10 of these, by the way.
Oh, for fuck's sake, man.
Number 6. Fjelstrup.
Oh, that's a player. I recognise that name, that's a player.
Well, if you recognise that player, he does not play for FC Midtjylland because it is a Danish town.
Oh.
Fjelstrup. Fjelstrup.
Well, made an arse of that one.
You did make an arse of that one, and an arse like Middelfart. Next up, number 7, Biskov, like the biscuits. Biskov.
Player.
Correct. Biskov is. Let me find him here on Transfer.
Because that's not a Danish name.
Well, he's got a wee Danish flag next to his name. Valdemar Biskov. He's maybe not from Denmark, but he's certainly eligible for Denmark. A 21-year-old right winger whose value comes in at about €1.5 million. Next up, I've really shot myself in the foot with these pronunciations. Frederikshavn.
Oh, that must be a town.
That is a town. Correct, Amundo. Well done. Second to last is Gogorza.
That's Gogorza. Like, well, nah, that sounds like some sort of Eastern European thing. So I'll say town. Player. Fucking hell.
I can confirm that Gogorza is actually a player. I'm trying to find him here on this list. Mikel Gogorza French and Danish nationality. He's an 18-year-old left winger, number 41, valued at €3 million. So he might be someone to watch out for.
Chump change for us these days.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, wrapping us up, we have Burr, B-U-R, Burr.
Like phone jacker Brian Bedondi Burr.
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 Basically.
We're
going to Denmark. Burr.
Midtjylland in the Europa qualifiers.
In the Europa League.
I'll go town.
It's a burn, yes.
Burn.
Burr is a Danish burn. It is absolutely a Danish town. Congratulations. I think you got most of them right, to be honest. I bet you a shaky start, but I think there was maybe only 2 or 3 that you never got right. If you're playing at home.
I don't like these quizzes where it's pure guessing games.
Yeah, but it's fun, isn't it? Because the words sound funny.
Yeah, especially middle fart.
I was putting all that together, right? I was sitting out in the garden with the kids, and the kids were running about. And I was just looking
and let me guess, you seen the name middle fart and you just laughed chuckling for about 5 minutes.
I was just chuckling because it's funny. Farts are funny. I'm a 28-year-old man, and I still think farts are funny.
I don't think you'd never find. Because I'm now a 34-year-old man. And
don't look at me.
Still. Thanks, mate.
You look 35.
Cheers, Barry.
Come on. No, farts are inherently funny and will be funny for.
We were at that Fox Lake on Sunday, and so obviously you're wetsuited up to the max, and the guy, when we went to have you ever been?
No, I've never even heard it. I just went.
So it's like an outdoor like water adventure thing. So they've got like you know how the Commie they do like that inflatable thing in the middle of the big pool. So it's this, but it's in like a lake type thing.
All right, cool.
So it's all outdoor, and the boy was giving us like the safety demonstration. Yeah, I just absolutely let rip through the wetsuit.
Was it already wet?
No, it was the wetsuit was wet because they just recycle them to whoever hands them in. Right. So it was still like damp. So there was a bit of engines, a bit of ripple, to which I turned round and Emma was absolutely disgusted. But Thomas was standing pissing himself. So,
mate, it's so funny, right? See, like, what I used to like try and conceal my farts, like when I was in public and stuff.
I thought that one was going to be, Ken, when you just lit in, it's maybe going to be like a that nobody's going to hear. But nah, it was rattling on its way out.
I used to proper conceal my farts when I was in public because I was like, no one can know that I pass wind through my rectum. But I've now come up with the genius device that if I've got my AirPods in or like I can't hear it,
no
one else can. So yeah. I'm standing at the bus stop and I just like I'm listening to fucking Elton John or whoever I'm listening to on my AirPods and I just go and then look about in disgust as if it was somebody else.
But then you'll know if it's a loud one because you'll feel it. Like you'll know if it's not a loud one if it's the aggressiveness at which you push that determines how loud it'll be.
I do try and push it fairly aggressively, which does come back to bite you in the arse. Pardon the pun. Sometimes.
Literally.
We spoke about this in the group chat about how often I shite myself. I mean, I maybe shouldn't be talking about this on the podcast. Maybe lose a few listeners, but I do shite myself pretty often.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move
swiftly on and talk a wee bit more about Midtjylland. I mean Midtjylland. Yeah, of course, we're going up against them next week in the Europa League second qualifying round. It's going to be tough, Craig, but I don't think it's an insurmountable task to come away from one, the first game without an absolute doing, and two, to actually get through the tie as a whole.
No, I completely agree. I mean, I said it before we started kind of speaking about it, that I would have liked us to have had them at home first.
Yeah.
Purely because I think it's better to go over there with something to defend than it maybe is to get them to come to Easter Road with something to maybe we need to try and like gain or get off them. Especially like if we're at home first, Easter Road's probably packed. It's a great atmosphere. If we're coming back a goal, 2 goals down, ticket sales might not be the greatest. There'll be a sort of lull in the atmosphere. So no, it's going to be. I mean, I'm not playing down how good they are, but at the same time, I'm not fucking on my knees thinking that we're playing Pep's 2011-2012 Barca team because we're not. And as we seen last season, with us going toe to toe with Rangers, toe to toe with Celtic, when we go toe to toe with these teams, we can beat them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did a little bit of digging in terms of the players, and because I mean, I look at their squad and I'm like you, I don't know really any of their players. I know who Kevin and Babu is because of his time at Rangers and Newcastle, but other than that, I don't really know any of their players, and that might be.
I think the boy Sorensen was at Brentford for a bit, the centre half.
So I know that their top scorer last season was Francolino, and he was top scorer last season with 16 goals in all competitions. And then their top assister was a Turkish lad, Aral Simsir, plays off the left and had 11 assists last year for left wing. And we found out as well that their centre half that scored 7 times last season is out injured for this game. Yeah. So that's a positive for us to take.
I mean, Midtjylland are favourites, right? Let's not try and hide it. They are favourites.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're as underdoggy as probably folk are making out. Mm-hmm. I mean, didn't get me wrong. Like, I'd never heard of this team until a few years ago. Like, I just
when
like,
they played Man United.
You've got Brøndby and Copenhagen, who are the two sort of well-known-ish teams coming out of
Denmark.
So, yeah, I don't think it's this sort of insurmountable task. I mean, we're not going to obviously take it lightly, but maybe this is just a bit of bravado based on how the team eventually clicked under Gray last year, and we've not weakened, like you said, we've only got better. Mm-hmm. So we shouldn't be going into this game thinking that fucking hell, we're going to have to sit with 2 banks of 5 and try and hit them on the counter.
Exactly. I don't think that Gray would look at it like that either. I think that, and I know you can only take very, very little from pre-season friendlies, but we didn't do that against Ajax, who lined up with a very, very strong starting 11. And I think that games like that, yes, they're friendlies, but I think giving the players the confidence to then go toe-to-toe and try and deliver what the manager wants against a team who is, yes, a lot better than us, but not unbeatable by any stretch of the imagination. I think it gives them a little bit of a confidence boost going into this game. And I tell you what, I'm really, really looking forward to it. Like I said earlier on, me and Mark are going. It's my first ever European away day with Hibs, so I'm looking forward to it. Win, lose or draw, it's going to be a good trip. It would be lovely to come back to Easter Road with, I was going to say come back with a point, to come back with a score level or beating them. I don't think that coming back a goal down in the tie is the worst thing in the world.
No, you don't want to be out of it. Like, you don't. But again, we've seen under this team with Gray that going a goal down or going another goal down doesn't faze them.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not collapsing like we would have been prone to doing in the past. Like, you look, like if Lee Johnson was in charge of this team, or Nick Montgomery was in charge of this team going into this game, I probably wouldn't even watch it on the telly because you know what's coming. But there's a different level of how this team operates and feels under Gray.
Exactly.
And, as soon as the draw was made and their manager was given it, we'll be through, no bother.
I really didn't like that, I don't know if it was like a lost in translation, off-the-cuff comment, or whether it was like an actual
couldn't give a fuck, to be honest. But it's one of those ones where, in the past, a Hibs team maybe would have thought, fucking hell, we just need to go over, there and not get a doing.
Yeah.
Like, probably, like, so comparing it to a team maybe similar stature in that, Malmo, all the years ago, coming back for there with a 2-0 deficit wasn't the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, but it was never going to get overturned, was it?
But because, no, it wasn't. But then we ended up playing a team and they just fucking bent us over.
Aye.
I don't think that happens with this Hibs team. And I think
so. And I think
as long as we come back to Easter Road with something still tangible to play for, as in a goal deficit, a draw, whatever, like a packed out Easter Road, we've seen what that ground can do on a European night. You think back to like the Tripolis game where we looked down and out, and then Gray and Canberry scored. You look at you look at Luzerne as well, where we turned them over, and then got the result that we did away from home because of the result that we got at home.
Exactly.
So we're more than capable of going over there and getting a result, but we need to make sure that we come back to Easter Road with something.
And I think, we are more than capable. I think another thing that we need to touch on as well is the sheer amount of Hibs fans going across, because it's not easy to get to Herning, where Midtjylland play. The way that we're doing it is we're flying into Copenhagen and then getting the train, which is like 3.5-4 hours from Copenhagen to Herning. Other Hibs fans I've seen are getting the plane into Billund, which is still like an hour and a half, 2 hours train from Herning. Like you can't really get to an airport that's that close. And I think there's about 1,000. There was 1,000 tickets sold, and I think there's even more going over that have not got tickets, that are going over to show their support. So I think that in itself is an incredible feat. And if you've booked up, if you've got tickets, if you're planning on heading over, then just make yourself known, make yourself loud, and get right behind the team, because we're going to need every single person in their dug to get behind us to really push the team on and hopefully come back with something. But like you said, it's not impossible, and
it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to talk about a team we didn't really know too much about.
Exactly.
That are like a well-known name in European football. Like it's easier, I think, to talk about teams when we played them like Santa Coloma or that Inter Descaldes, because like Scuddies, like should be tanning them nae bother. But one with Midtjylland's is a bit different, because they are, you do recognise the name, but you don't recognise the team.
Exactly.
So I could be saying this, being like, oh, okay, we shouldn't be going in there thinking that we're underdogs, and then we end up playing like a 2011, 2012 like Barca regen team. Like we just don't know.
Though, like, I mean, you can do all your research and stuff. Like, I watched their highlights. They beat Slovan Bratislava in a friendly. They beat them 4-1, and you can only take so much from highlights. You can only take so much from friendlies. And like, for a team that beat someone 4-1, I didn't think that they looked incredible. But it's a pre-season friendly, and you change the side at half time, and then you look on Transfermarkt and you look and you go, I recognise him, I don't recognise him, and then you immediately, what I do, like what I was doing earlier, was I was comparing the squad and the values to Celtic and Rangers, because I think that's a good barometer. We can beat Celtic and Rangers. We need to have a good day, they need to have an off day, usually. But it's possible. And I think that certainly where Midtjylland's value on Transfermarkt puts them just in between Rangers and Celtic.
I think the good thing for us with them as well is it's not like it used to be with these sort of Northern European leagues where they're already halfway through their season.
I think that's a massive
when we play them. Like when you go back to when we've played teams like I remember going to Sweden when we played Elfsborg, and we got beaten. But we were 4 weeks into pre-season. They were 9 games into their regular season.
Exactly.
I think we played Odense as well in some European game, Brøndby as well. Like now that they're sort of on this, now that they're on the same sort of timeline calendar as us game wise, it'll be interesting to see like the difference in between a team that's like 9 or 10 games in and are like doing well.
Yeah.
Versus us, who would just be, like I said, 3-4 weeks having played fucking like Clyde and Cowdenbeath maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they do have one league game, which is on Sunday against Odense Ball Club, which is where we got Alassane Mane from, incidentally. So it'll probably be. I mean, I think I'll probably watch that. I'll do my scouting mission, and be glued to the telly for watching that, and just to see maybe like what we can expect from them. Really, to be honest, because. Like you said, it's not like we're going up against Aston Villa, in which you know all the players and you know how they play, and you know that you're probably going to get to do it. I mean, yeah. To be honest, I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited, Craig, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm jealous, mate. I'm jealous.
Yeah, like I said, it's the first time that I'll have been away, for a European away day. And if we'd have got that playoff space that Aberdeen got had Celtic won the cup, then it maybe would have went to one that had a little bit more time to plan. But because I was like, well, Midtjylland's a great tie, I was like, I just want to go and experience it.
Well, because I made a rip roaring arse of it by trying to plan holidays for the group stages.
Yeah.
And then ended up not being able to get a holiday in for this one. So.
Well, we might still get to the group stages.
We might still, but I tried to sort of weigh up each Wednesday to Thursday in the group stage.
And that.
Line it up with the group
How
stages.
to make the most of your 2025 annual leave.
And I ended up with egg on my face because I had to just cancel every single one.
Oh, you should have kept. Should have kept them, or at least.
Is what is. There's plenty there. Like if I need it now, but it was I was a bit, and I was quite glad as well because as soon as the draw was made and I went on EasyJet just to see because I was like, if I can get a flight or get us a flight, I might play the please let me go card to work.
Oh, to Emma.
And no, well she would have wanted to come.
Oh really?
Aye.
I had to do the please let me go after I'd booked it.
But then as soon as I seen EasyJet, it was 130 quid, and then when I checked it again 5 minutes later, it jumped up to 290 quid, and I was like,
yeah. Well,
don't get me wrong, I would love a Hibs European away adventure, but I'm no that much.
Mark had the flights in his basket as the draw was being made. Because obviously it goes it splits.
What did he have 40 different tabs open with just each destination?
Yeah, I think so. And then when it was Midtjylland, he pressed, and it was £109 or something to flights to Copenhagen. Pressed buy now. Wasn't he letting him? And then by the time he ended up getting the flights booked, it was 350 quid.
Oof.
But we were all yeah, we're going regardless. Regardless, and so I'm glad that we're going, and we've all managed to get a ticket, thankfully. So yeah, it'll be exciting times. We're leaving on Wednesday morning, come back Friday afternoon. So it'll be carnage.
That'll be a good one, mate. That'll be a good one.
And I'm finally going to get to take my flag that I got made up for.
Away
that I never went to.
The Sharks one.
Yeah. 2
Brilliant.
permanent managers ago. Right, well, we move on to listener questions before we wrap up.
Let's please do so.
Now it's time to answer the Hibs Ramble listener questions.
First off, the first listener question of the 25-26 season is, of course, Mr. John McIntosh, and he asks, what is for dinner?
I'm not too sure yet, to be honest.
Oh, you're doing a Liam.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. There's Emma let me know there's pastrami in the fridge before I started, so I might
Pastrami on rye.
bring something up with pastrami. Oh, we've not even touched on the fact that we played in a fives tourney.
Oh no, we haven't. And we got scudded.
Oh,
Well, and I put it down as that we got to the quarters, but I've now realised that we only got to round of 16.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Oh well, I finished top goal scorer. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I finished goal scorer.
Yeah, eventually, thank God.
Yeah.
And if anybody's ever wondering if you can take someone's football knowledge seriously when you watch them play football, I now look at Liam in a completely different light. and realise that some of the shite takes that he comes out with absolutely correlates with his football ability. Although I did somebody did try to shoulder barge me and did completely bounce off me, and ended up fucking headbutting their own player.
Yeah, I gifted it up and I put it on the Twitter.
Yeah.
But aye, so something pastrami.
Something
Pastrami.
pastrami. Yeah, or do you know what? It's Friday. It's been a while. I might get myself a takeaway.
I'm looking at my dinner right now. I can see it's up there on the stove top, and it is a tomato and bacon pasta bake.
I'm quite
bits through it.
I'm quite fancying like a chicken shish kebab or something. I don't know why.
I don't know. I think it's too hot for something like that.
Nah, see, the weather doesn't bother me with what you can eat. I could eat like a full steak pie, like homemade steak pie.
Ken, what I did the other, and you were in the group chat, so you ken exactly what I did. But for the purposes of people who are listening, who are not in our group chat, what I did the other night was, I can't remember what day it was, but it was absolutely roasty toasty.
I think it was last Friday. It was the day it was like fucking 900 degrees.
Aye, and I was like, I can't eat anything hot. So I went up to Aldi's and I just bought a big pot of tatty salad and ate that.
I tried that for the first time today, actually.
Did you like it?
It was alright. It was a bit too, this like sour cream or whatever that was in it was a bit too tangy for my liking, but...
It's good the way.
Aye.
It was alright. It doesn't sound very appetising, but...
Yeah, it was
nice.
Good.
I like tatty salad. But yeah, pasta bake for me tonight. Next up, Harvey Scott asks, "Oh, we are so back. Question is, what do Hibs think they're doing giving out smaller plastic cups?" Now, I've got to out myself here. I've not been to Easter Road this season, and I'm not going tomorrow. Because Craig Friendlies are...
Shite.
beneath me.
Although, it is Darren McGregor's testimonial, but I was thinking about going, and now that I know that McGregor can't play, obviously, because he's hopefully recovering well for that car accident that he was in. Because McGregor's not playing, like, I'm not interested in watching Hibs and Bolton.
It's just a friendly at the end of the day.
Yeah.
He says, what do Hibs think they're doing giving out smaller plastic cups? And I had no idea what he was talking about here. So I had to... It seems stupid now because I replied saying, going to need an explanation on this before we record. And he replied saying, they've got new plastic cups and they're smaller. I mean...
I'll need to reserve judgment until we see them.
Shouldn't have plastic cups anyway, guys. 2025.
Yeah. Greenest club in Scotland, apparently. Come on, Hibs.
Yeah, fucking pathetic.
Bet you the fucking price hasn't changed, though. I bet you the price hasn't went smaller.
No, probably not, mate. Probably went higher,
Nah, well,
to be honest.
Aye.
Billy's up next. He says, what would be an acceptable offer for Lewis Miller and who would replace him? I think the club have valued him at about 1.5.
Yeah, I think if a team gets close to 1.5, they'll probably bite their hand off. I think, depending on the money that they're talking about for Porteous, if they can effectively get the fee for Miller
Replace him,
to spend on Porteous, aye. And I think it's hard to know, like a...
It's difficult when you're in Hib's situation to be able to pinpoint players that you want.
It's weird because I don't look at, like, other than Mulligan last season, where I thought when I watched him I was like, well, I'd take him, but I don't know where he would have fit in. I don't know why, but see, the older I'm getting, and it's like, oh, who would you sign to replace him? I'm like, well, I don't fucking know.
You know
like,
what area you want to sign?
Aye. Like, I would quite like us to sign a striker like Simon Murray, but I don't want us to sign Simon Murray, so I wouldn't be able to tell you who else we could sign like that.
Yeah. I'd probably go for Porteous as well, Billy, to be honest with you. Dean also says, with Miller likely leaving, who would you like as a replacement? Porteous. Andrew McMillan says, so glad yous are back, guys. Thanks, Andrew.
Cheers, mate.
It's a really nice thing to say. It's the nicest thing anyone's ever actually said to us. It's great to be back, and I've really enjoyed this episode so far. Who else have we got here? Aaron McGinn says, and it's not a question, it's a request. Maybe put a PSA out for one ticket for a lonely young man who doesn't have one for Midtjylland away, but everyone he's going with does. Sympathy goes a long way. So if you see Aaron in Denmark and you've got a spare ticket, please let him know. Doesn't take an awful lot to make a young man happy.
Yeah, and we believe he's one of Sean's
He is
closest
one of
pals
Sean's
as well.
mates, yeah, so that's exactly why
So,
we're saying it. If it was anyone
yeah.
else, we'd be like, fuck off, I'm not saying it on the pod.
Yeah.
Finally, I've got to wrap up with your best mate, Gav Dick. And he says Ramble's back with like 18 Ks and then the love heart eyes emoji. He says spelling will be up to par this season.
We'll see about that.
Crying with laughter emoji and then a full stop.
Oh.
Then he says
Don't know how I feel
squad.
about full stops after emojis, but
I think
I'll allow it.
I think he's trying his hardest.
Yeah, I'll allow it. I'll allow
Because I
it.
think if he didn't, you'd be saying, well, where's the end of the sentence?
No, because I never put full stops after I send an emoji. I think that's just weird.
Well, he's actually put a comma after the first emoji and then a full stop after the second. So he's just properly punctualising his sentence.
Yeah, he's trying. I'll give him it. He's trying.
Yeah. And then he says, squad is looking strong on paper. However, do we still need another striker? If so,
Yes.
what about Ronan Hale?
Mm,
If we can get him at a decent price, and a decent price for me is 250 to 300,000, then okay.
but
But
right,
no more than
so
that.
flip that on its head. Right, is he what you would class as a needle mover? Right, is he like what I said at the start about us? I want us to sign players that are coming in, like Cleege's coming in to play. Mulligan is coming in to play. McGrath is coming in to play. The goalie is coming in to play. Is Hale better than Boyle or Bibby?
Or Cleege.
Well, we don't know about Cleege. That's what I said day two.
He certainly scored more goals than Bibby did. He played more games though. He scored a lot of goals in a really, really poor side.
Again, to play devil's advocate, so did Simon Murray. Would you take Simon Murray at Hibs?
But I think
Actually,
that's-
don't answer that because I know what your answer would be.
No, but I think that's different because of his age, though. Because if Simon Murray was 25 and he'd had the season that he'd had last season, I probably would have said yes. If we can if Ronan Hale is available, and it financially makes sense for Hibs to spend money on him, then I wouldn't particularly be against it. But having said that, I don't think he would be my first choice.
Yeah.
If he signed for Hibs tomorrow, then I wouldn't be going, that's an awful signing. I'd be going, oh great, we've signed Ronan Hale.
Aye. But it's
But
no
if someone
it's-
else signs him, then I'm not going to be gutted.
aye, I know what you mean. That's a good way to sum it up.
I think it's a very diplomatic way.
It is, yeah.
And
It's
well
a very
done, Gav, for getting all your
political-
spelling right.
Very political answer, that.
And I think that's about time for us to wrap it up, Craig. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you for the last hour and 20 minutes or so. How how does it feel to be back?
It does, it feels good, mate. It feels good.
I'm absolutely delighted to be back.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be a bit more... Well, I think given now that we're sort of on the same boat with away games, we kind of... Like, I think I'll be at a lot more away games this season.
Yeah.
Because I want to try and tick them off. I'm fucking
Loyalty
delighted.
points
For Scran purposes, I'm devastated that Ross County are out. But for distance purposes, I'm fucking delighted that Falkirk and Livy are up.
Yeah, but...
And St Johnstone as well. Fuck them. Thank God.
Oh, mate, I don't even think that we've spoken about that.
No, thank the fucking
I'm
Lord
delighted
that they're
they've
away.
gone.
I hate going to Perth. Fucking stadium in the middle of nowhere, nothing near it
Ken, what
other
I'd
than
like,
a Tesco.
right? I'd like Falkirk and Livy to go back down. I'd also like Dundee to go down.
I'd like Dunfermline to come back up because
I'd
of the
like
Fridays.
Dunfermline to come up. I'd kind of want St Mirren to go down because that's... Oh no, actually, St Mirren's not a bad away day.
Smyrna's like 10 minutes away from Glasgow Central, that's not bad.
Yeah. Ayr was a good time in the cup.
Yeah, but you wouldn't... Ayr was a good... But you wouldn't want to do that twice a season because you'd get that on a Wednesday night in February or something.
Yeah, it was good for a Friday, wasn't it?
Aye.
Yeah. So get Dundee, Livingston and Falkirk down and just bring Dunfermline up. Maybe Wraith.
Right, so we're going to need to be a bit more like strategic about that because you can only let 2 teams go down a season and not the 3 that you've just positioned.
I know, but I've just put 3 down and only brought 2 back up. So this is just my ideal.
Fair.
And no, put three down, bring 2 back up, and we'll just play everyone again. But
Do you
instead
know
of
what?
a full game, you just play the first half.
Do you know what? See, just for location wise, right? We'll go next season. We'll go Dundee.
Hamilton.
No. Dundee. Distance wise, right? Dundee and Kilmarnock down. Wraith and Dunfermline up.
Yeah. Aberdeen down.
Oh, Aberdeen. Aye,
Yeah,
actually, aye.
yeah, Aberdeen
No,
down.
do you know what? We'll go for this season. We'll go Aberdeen and Kelly down. Dunfermline. What we want to do is we want to build like an Eastern Premier League.
Edinburgh City
Send-
and Spartans up.
At Bonnyrigg as well, eventually, when they
Bonnyrigg.
come back.
Yep. Maybe East Coast
Civil
Pride.
service.
Get them in.
Civil service. Oh, we've not even touched on that strategic link we've got with him.
I don't even know what that means, to be honest.
Oh, did you not see it? So there's
Yeah, no, I've seen it, but I don't. One.
I think it allows the players.
does it
So the
mean?
players that have went on loan, so that Freddie Owens and Dean Cleland have went on loan to East Kilbride.
Yep.
But I think it still allows them to play for Hibs as well if they're needed.
Has that not always been the case with development loans, though?
No, like I think they can still play in the first team.
All right. Oh, wow.
So say first game of the season, say it's a Sunday, like the Sunday after one of the European games, and the squad gets hit by a fucking food poisoning bug. Like even though he could have been
Because the
playing
beans
for
are
East Kilbride
poisonous.
on the Saturday, he could play for Hibs on the Sunday, but then go back and play for East Kilbride the following Saturday. I think
All right. Well, that kind of makes sense.
because I think Aberdeen have
What
signed.
if Hibs just wanted to keep him on the bench and what? I don't know.
I think it allows because East Kilbride are part time. Like they'll still train with Hibs anyway.
Yeah.
But I think for games, that it still allows them to play for. They can effectively be dual registered to both.
Oh, like you used to be able to do in Italy,
Aye,
co-ownership. I
yeah,
never understood. I never ever understood how that worked.
yeah. But that stuff they could only play for one team. Like this way, they can play for either team.
Yeah. And I only know about
think.
that from like Football Manager 2008.
Yeah, aye.
I was just a wee guy when I played that, so. Going off on a wee bit of a tangent here, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Good place for us to bring it back and wrap it up. And if you've got this far, thank you so much for listening to us ramble on for nearly an hour and a half for our first ramble of the season. We're absolutely delighted to be back. I'll post as much as I can from Denmark next week on the socials, on the Twitter, on Facebook, TikTok, etc., and kind of document my journey and the game and stuff.
Welcome to a day in the life of a Hibs podcaster.
Welcome
This
to
is
the
me.
life of a guy who had a Lee Johnson flag made up and then he was sacked the week after.
This is me and Mark on our way onto the plane.
This is me and Mark in the toilet together. Yeah, so if you don't already, give us a follow on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, wherever we are. Our tag is at the Hibs Ramble. And as always, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Cheery bye.
Let's get ready to rumble.